Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you been dreaming of becoming a permanent resident of Canada but feel stuck because you do not have a job offer or your CRS score is not high enough? Well, here is some good news. Ontario might still want you. In this video, I will show you exactly how you can get permanent residency in Canada through the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, even if you do not have a job offer and even if your CRS score is just average. If you are a skilled worker living outside Canada, a skilled tradesperson working in Ontario, a student studying in Ontario, or fluent in French, there might be a stream under the OINP made just for you. There is no difference between Ontario PNP and OINP. They are the same program. Ontario PNP is just a general term people use, while Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program is the official name. So, stay with me, because your Canadian PR journey could start right here, right now, and it might be easier than you think. Let's dive into how the Ontario Human Capital category of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program works, and how people just like you are getting PR through it every year. At the end of this video, I will also let you know whether the July 2025 changes have any impact on the Human Capital category of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. The Ontario Human Capital category is designed to attract highly skilled, educated, and experienced individuals who can contribute meaningfully to Ontario's economy and society. This category particularly favors individuals who are currently living or studying in Ontario, or those residing outside Canada who demonstrate strong potential for successful integration into the province. Within the Ontario Human Capital category, there are two major streams: express entry streams and graduate streams. In this video, I'll be covering both streams of the Ontario Human Capital category in detail. The express entry streams of Ontario Human Capital category are aligned with the federal express entry system. To be eligible under these streams, candidates must first have an active express entry profile under either the Federal Skilled Worker Program or the Canadian Experience class. The express entry streams of the Ontario Human Capital category include three further streams: the Human Capital Priority stream, the Skilled Trades stream, and the French-speaking Skilled Worker stream. Let's start with the Human Capital Priority stream, which targets skilled workers in high-demand occupations such as tech, healthcare, and finance. Under this stream, Ontario regularly searches the federal express entry pool and issues notifications of interest to candidates who match the province's labor market needs. One of the key advantages of this stream is that a job offer is not required to receive a notification of interest. To be considered under this stream, candidates must have an active express entry profile under either the Federal Skilled Worker Program or the Canadian Experience class, and must have indicated their interest in immigrating to Ontario in their express entry profile. Although a job offer is not necessary, having one can boost your comprehensive ranking system score and improve your chances of selection. Ontario uses its own search tool to scan the federal express entry pool for candidates who meet the eligibility criteria for this stream. Selected candidates typically have a CRS score that falls within a specified range. These ranges vary based on Ontario's labor market needs. In general, targeted draws, which focus on specific occupations, have seen CRS cutoffs as low as 350 to 460, while general draws, which are open to a wider range of occupations, tend to require higher CRS scores, sometimes 470 or more. You might be wondering about the difference between general and targeted draws. In general draws, Ontario invites candidates from any skilled occupation in the express entry pool, resulting in a higher CRS threshold due to greater competition. In targeted draws, Ontario specifically invites candidates from high-demand fields like tech, nursing, or finance. Because fewer people qualify, the CRS cutoff is usually lower. It's important to understand that receiving a notification of interest is not the same as receiving a provincial nomination. Once you receive a notification of interest, you have 45 days to submit your application through the OINP e-filing portal. If your application is approved, Ontario will issue a provincial nomination and you will receive 600 additional CRS points in your Express Entry profile. These extra points almost guarantee an invitation to apply for permanent residence in the next Federal Express Entry draw. Now let's move on to the skilled trade stream under the Ontario Express Entry system. You cannot apply from abroad under this stream. This stream is tailored for skilled trades workers who are currently living and working in Ontario and who wish to become permanent residents. To qualify, candidates must have an active Express Entry profile and be eligible under the Canadian Experience class. They must also express an interest in immigrating to Ontario through their Express Entry profile. In skilled trade stream, no job offer is required to receive a notification of interest if you have at least 1 year of cumulative work experience in Ontario in a skilled trade within the last 2 years. Ontario does not set a fixed CRS cutoff for this stream. In fact, targeted draws have historically invited candidates with CRS scores as low as 300 to 350, depending on the trade and demand in the labor market. The OINP regularly conducts these targeted draws to select skilled tradespeople who are already contributing to the Ontario economy. To improve your chances under this stream, keep your Express Entry profile up to date and ensure that you are currently living and working in Ontario in an eligible occupation. Once you receive a notification of interest, you have 45 days to submit your application through the OINP online portal. If approved, you will receive a provincial nomination certificate and 600 CRS points will be added to your Federal Express Entry profile. With the boosted score, you are likely to receive an invitation to apply in the next Express Entry round. Finally, let's talk about the French-speaking skilled worker stream, which is also part of the Ontario Express Entry system. This stream is aimed at bilingual candidates who are fluent in both French and English and wish to live and work in Ontario. It helps Ontario select French-speaking professionals from the Federal Express Entry pool, encouraging bilingual talent to settle in the province. To qualify, candidates must have an active Express Entry profile under either the Federal Skilled Worker Program or Canadian Experience class. They must also meet all eligibility requirements of the Federal Skilled Worker Program or Canadian Experience class, including education, work experience, and language proficiency. While a job offer is not required, candidates must express their interest in Ontario through their Express Entry profile by selecting Ontario or all provinces and territories under the Provinces of Interest section. Ontario searches Federal Express Entry pool for candidates who meet the language requirements, with at least CLB 7 in French and CLB 6 in English, along with educational credentials equivalent to a Canadian bachelor's degree or higher. They must also demonstrate sufficient settlement funds unless they are currently working in Canada, and show a clear intent to reside in Ontario. Ontario uses targeted draws to invite French-speaking candidates. There is no fixed CRS score, and past draws have included candidates with scores as low as 350 to 460. Unlike other streams, this one places more emphasis on language proficiency rather than CRS score alone. So, even if your CRS is not very high, you still have a strong chance if you meet the language and program requirements. As with other streams, once you receive notification of interest, you must apply through the OINP portal within 45 days. If approved, you will receive a provincial nomination and 600 additional CRS points, significantly increasing your chances of receiving an invitation to apply for permanent residence in the next Federal Express Entry draw. The Ontario Human Capital graduate streams are part of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program and are specifically designed for recent international graduates from eligible Ontario institutions. These streams do not require an Express Entry profile, which makes them an attractive option for graduates who may not yet meet the requirements of Federal Express Entry-based programs. There are two graduate streams under this category: the Master's Graduate Stream and the PhD Graduate Stream. The Master's Graduate Stream is for individuals who have earned a master's degree from an eligible Ontario university and wish to live and work in Ontario permanently. Applicants must have completed at least one academic year of full-time study for their master's degree at an eligible Ontario institution, have a Canadian language benchmark level of 7 or higher in English or French, and have lived in Ontario for at least 1 year within the 2 years prior to applying. They must also demonstrate sufficient funds to support themselves and any dependents, show an intention to live in Ontario permanently, and if applying from within Canada, must have legal status as a visitor, student, or worker. No job offer is required to apply, but applicants must submit their application within 2 years of completing their master's degree. To apply under the Master's Graduate Stream, candidates should monitor the OINP website for when the stream opens. Register in the OINP e-filing portal. Submit a complete application within 14 days of registration. Upload all required documents such as degree, transcripts, language test results, and proof of funds, and pay the $1,500 application fee. Upon approval, applicants receive a provincial nomination certificate and can then apply directly to IRCC for permanent residence. The PhD graduate stream is for individuals who have completed a PhD program at an eligible Ontario university and wish to settle in Ontario permanently. Applicants must have completed at least 2 years of their PhD program at an eligible institution, lived in Ontario for at least 1 year in the past 2 years before applying, demonstrate sufficient funds to support themselves and dependents, show intent to live in Ontario, and if applying from within Canada, must have legal status. Under PhD stream, no job offer and no language test is required. Applications must be submitted within 2 years of completing the PhD program. To apply under the PhD graduate stream, candidates need to wait for the stream to open on the OINP website, register in the e-filing portal, submit a complete application within 14 calendar days of registration, provide all necessary documentation, pay the $1,500 application fee, and upon approval, receive a provincial nomination certificate before applying for permanent residence through IRCC. Starting July 2, 2025, changes are coming to the employer job offer streams under the OINP. This does not affect the human capital or graduate streams discussed in this video. However, applicants are advised to check the OINP website for stream-specific updates, especially if applying through employer-based pathways. So there you have it, multiple pathways to Canadian permanent residency through the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. I hope this video helped you understand how you can move to Canada through Ontario Human Capital category of OINP. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more helpful tips. Your Canadian dream could be closer than you think. Good luck.